But I just wanted to update everybody that showed up on where we stand right now and maybe some changes that have been from last year. The first big change from last year is we have changed the name from Science Fairs to Regional Student Research Symposia. And the reason why we did that is after discussion, after running this for the first year, we really decided that we wanted to model what happens at a scientific conference where scientists are displaying their work through posters and having discussions around what they did and their results, and focus less on this competition piece and more on sharing research and peer review. The other thing that happened is, and this didn't just happen at one of the events, but it happened at a couple, is that students actually were talking with each other, and some of them were talking to me about other students' research and how they really thought that they did a great job and why, and it really showed that they were engaging with each other. And so we really wanted to encourage that piece again. And so it was these two things that really brought to the forefront that what GLOBE is about is sharing student research about what they're doing in their home place. And again, thanks to the National Science Foundation, we can run these again for another year. And we're hoping that we'll be able to run them even further into the future. But the funding we got from the National Science Foundation, we'll be able to fund them for at least one more year. So who is invited is, we're sticking with the same grade span. So we have grades 5 through 8 and 9 through 12. And they're GLOBE students, GLOBE teachers, and students that would like to carry out research in their home area or are already doing that. And we also, again, want to support teachers that are integrating these field investigations. So really, who is invited has not changed at all. We also wanted to clarify, though, that all GLOBE students and teachers are invited to attend and participate. We want as many students and teachers to come to these as possible. The funding support for the Science Symposia is to pay for as many students as possible that can attend. The funding support, so there's two pieces of the funding. There's funding for the event itself, and then there's funding for partners and students and teachers to come as a team, essentially. The amount of money there's to support the event will support, hopefully, as many as want to come. The other piece of it is partners can request up to $2,000 to support a team of students, really about 3 students and a teacher, to attend this along with the partner themselves. And we really want to build up this idea that the partners and the teachers and students are there to support each other. We are saying that we're estimating that $2,000 will cover a teacher and about 3 students. That amount is for students that may have to fly, teams that may have to fly. But if you're driving in, that money can obviously go a lot further than just 3 students and a teacher. So that's something to keep in mind. And we're also saying that project teams should be no more than 3 students. Last year, that's just a clarification that we want to make after last year. There's some additional resources for students and teachers this year, and I just want to talk about those a little bit more. The first one today is the first of our virtual office hours. These are taking place from 3:30 to 5 o'clock Eastern Time. And we did webinars last year. what we're asking and suggesting that teachers do is view the webinars from last year and then drop in for these open office hours from 3:30 to 5, where there will be people online that can help answer questions about those particular science practices. There'll also be some additional resources that we might want to share during those office hours. For instance, writing research questions. There's a resource that many of us are going to at least be introduced to if we haven't already been next week, called Mike, help me out. Is it the Right Question Institute?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. And resources like that we would add to the website and perhaps highlight during those virtual office hours, and we'll just keep adding these particular resources to the website. So really what we want to do is provide this time where we can build on what we did last year and support teachers and students in moving forward. The phone number and the passcode will always be the same, and we'll have new links to the virtual or to the online portion in the calendar. And I really already talked about this, but again, just to highlight the fact that as we add more resources, those to the virtual office hours, we'll add the links to those onto the Globe website. Last year we were very hopeful that teachers would do blog posts for us and share their challenges and their successes and how it was going and maybe some tips and techniques for other teachers. And that's on us. We came into this late, and the webinars were great, but the blog posts we just weren't able to have volunteers for. We're really hoping this year to find, and we actually have one volunteer already, we're really hoping to find 5 teachers that will write about each of those different topics. And it would be so great to have teachers that did it last year and teachers that are really working towards this year to be able to share with the community. And what we're going to do is have them, they can either do a blog post themselves and we can link to it, or they can link through my blog, and or maybe both as a guest blogger on my link. And there is a stipend available. Another addition for this year is student videos for students, made by students. What we would love, and this was a suggestion from last year, we would like students to do short videos, 5 to 10 minutes, on those 5 different topics. And we would ask teachers to upload them to YouTube or another location. We're going to share them under the Student Resources page, and they will be highlighted there. And the only thing we need are photo and video releases. And I have my coworker here, Haley, is going to be coordinating that. So we're really excited about that addition. We have a new updated map with pretty colors. And so if you find where you are and what region you are, the next page will share the date for your Regional Student Research Symposia. There is 2 dates that are still to be determined. We're so close to setting these dates right now. I'm really hoping that by the beginning of next week, there'll be dates in here, and locations as well. Right now, we do know that the one in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic will take place at Palmyra Cove in New Jersey. And it's a beautiful spot. The other ones are great too. We have Marshall Space Flight Center in Alabama, Metro State University, and I'm really excited about that one too because they're talking about some good plans there. Purdue University and the Jet Propulsion Lab. So all of these are pretty exciting locations. I just want to share an example agenda for those of you that were not able to attend last year. This is the same kind of idea, but I just want to talk about kind of what happened last year because even though there's an example agenda, a lot of the different planners, the leadership teams, really took a different, they really arranged the schedule according to their areas of expertise. So the two at NASA centers got backstage tours. The professional development for teachers that took place really varied on what partners were attending and what their areas of expertise were. The timing of that also varied, where we had some teachers and students working on an activity together, and then we had other places where during the poster viewing for students, the teachers were in a professional development meeting. So it really took a different flavor depending on where they were. When we were in Mississippi, we were at a beautiful nature science center. What is it, Sherry? Let's see. The Museum of Natural Science, and the students were able to walk around and view all of the exhibits. So we had a lot of different things happening at each of the different places. They flew kites in Toledo. That was exciting. The rubrics. This also is a little bit different this year, where we had the presentations themselves and the research should be based on the International Virtual Science Symposium scoring rubric and the badges. We're still keeping that. That should guide what you're doing with students. There will also be a presentation rubric. That's the one that the peers will walk around with, and also not only the peers but the scientists that are attending will walk around with. And they'll just use that in the discussion with students that will be presenting their research. So that will be posted in the near future, and that talks about things like communication. There isn't that much change from the evaluation, except it's still being done here at the university, and there were some really interesting things that came out of this in terms of how students' perception has changed. We're still doing passive consent, which means that we would ask teachers to send home a letter. There's a YouTube video that just needs a little bit of updating that will explain passive consent. But what passive consent means is that unless a student and a parent opt out, then we consider them assisting us with the evaluation of the project. And the program evaluation and the research are separate components, and there's no extra work, and everything is strictly voluntary. So none of that has changed from last year. We do ask that teachers commit to implementing it in the classroom, coming up with a plan for choosing and developing the team, and all of that is in the Google form. And as I mentioned, there is a new tab in the on the website strictly for the Regional Student Research Symposia. And I'll show you that in 1 minute. I'm going to show you that now, actually. I'm going to share my screen so that I can just show you where that is. Don't look at my desktop. It's a mess.
Oh, my God.
I know. See, the window should have come up and actually blocked that. Okay, so here's the Student Research Symposia homepage there now, and we have all the dates as they're written. We have a calendar. Everything is divided up into all of these different pieces, and we are going to put in some deadlines for registration and things like that. And then each of these different symposia will have a link to where there'll be the logistical details for each of them. So they'll each have their own page as well. There's the teacher resources, which includes the webinars. These are the links to the ones from last year. There will be a new link for the virtual portion of the office hours if you wanted to see online. I assume that as we move forward with this and these open office hours, there may be things that in order to answer a question, we would share our screen and we could show you websites or different resources that we found. So that may happen during those open office hours. So there'll be a link here for you to log on just like you did today to the ReadyTalk website. And then there'll be links to all the teacher blogs too, as soon as we have those posted. If we go to student resources, we're going to have links to the student videos here. And here's some other additional resources for teachers. And for those of you who may be new, if you do go to these teacher resources, so if we go to here, and these webinars, I know what's going to happen. It's actually going to start on me. But if you go here, there are live links to all of these resources that we reference within the professional development webinar. So there's that piece, but also there are, let's see, analyzing globe data. So with this one, we have lots of webinar links and resources here, and globe links and resources. And again, these are ones that we will add, and we'll probably put a little new right by it so that people that have used some of these resources last year will know which ones we've added this year. And let's see. And this link is under the United States of America, and it's this last tab, then the Student Research Symposia. And we have all of these different resources.